Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my modified Avalanche build for last Epoch. As always, I will cover every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now what you're looking at right now is my Shaman spec'd into Avalanche. We are also using Maelstrom. We are using Storm Bolts, and the Storm Bolts are converted into cold. We are using Upheaval, Warcry, and an unspec'd Fury Leap on our bar. And you will see as I'm running around, any little enemy, Maelstrom will kill. You literally don't even have to spend your mana on your Avalanche. And then when you finally hit a decent sized enemy, you hit them with your Avalanche. You just run through the map very, very simply. Storm Bolts are automated. Maelstrom is automated. Upheaval is automated. And literally the only things you are doing is Warcry to make your Maelstrom and make you stronger, cast your Avalanche, and you jump around. And again, it is an unspec'd leap. The gameplay you are looking at right now is almost 600 corruption. Our refreshed Avalanche is doing very, very well. Now you should know that this build is pretty mana heavy. You just can't spam Avalanche like crazy unless you are heavily spec'd into mana generation. But as long as you use it when you need it, it isn't a problem. Let me show you some single targets. Exiled Mage, over 600 corruption. And Exiled Mages can actually be pretty agitating when it comes to Avalanche because they move so often. So when they stand still, they get nuked, but they always bounce around. So you kind of got to lead them. Dead. Fully empowered Nemesis. We're just going to go nuts. Spam Avalanche. Don't let them move. Look at that. We like it when they stand in one place. Shade of Oribus. And this is an example of a longer fight. You need to ensure you are watching your mana and actually hitting it when Shade of Oribus is standing still, so that you make sure you don't waste any of your avalanches. And Shade of Oribus. Good night. Figured for the final single target, might as well be ice versus ice. And you will see here towards the end phases, you don't have to move. Maelstrom will kill everything.
This is a mercy.
Well, that was interesting. Hera just stood still. We shouldn't have moved.
Do not stand in my way.
All right, don't run away.
This is a mercy.
Miss me. And Ice Horse, you are dead. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's break down the skills, and we're going to start with one of my favorite Primalist skills, which is Warcry. And I'll try and point you into the right direction on what nodes you want to take first. Now, there's a lot of good stuff inside of Warcry. First thing you want to do is come over to the right and cut the cooldown in half. It's no longer going to stun, freeze, or fear, but you're going to be able to use it all the time. Now, this is an option. I like using it as a totem. You don't have to. It does add a mana cost. I like using it as a totem because it goes off 3 times. You then want to come down here and get Whirlpool, which when you use Warcry, it is going to make 4 stacks of Maelstrom. 4 stacks, very important number. You're then going to come up here to the left, and you're going to get a 100% increase to your critical strike chance and chill chance, and boost your overall cold damage by 250% for 4 seconds after using Warcry. I also like coming down here and make it where your Warcry cleanses ailments and gives you 300 healing. And remember, this is going off all the time because of your Warcry totem. You could also put a point right here into Scream, which is going to do spell physical damages 40, just for a little added damage. Warcry, amazing skill. Moving over to Upheaval, and remember that Upheaval is auto-triggered from your Avalanche. I'll show you that in the Avalanche tree. Now, for Upheaval, the reason why we take it is literally this branch right here. This is the main reason we are taking Upheaval. And this is Earth Armor. This is going to give you so much survivability. You're going to get endurance threshold per your attunement. You're going to get armor per your attunement, armor per your attunement as much, and you could stack this 3 times. It is also going to trigger Maelstroms when you fall below certain amount of stacks. Okay? We're also turning this into a cold skill instead of a physical skill. We're going to make it where it can't be dodged. We are going to come up here and it's going to cause frailty to enemies. So it's giving you survivability. It's giving you Maelstrom. Enemies can't dodge it, and you're going to be making them frail. And then we just come down here and take a little bit of stun chance. So maybe you have a chance to stun them as well. Again, fully automated. Moving over to Maelstrom, which again is fully automated from Warcry's Whirlpool. And for here, you want to come up and over, and the first thing you want to take is this right here. This is going to give you Frenzy and Haste, so you are very fast when you are running around with your Maelstrom. You then want to come over to the right, and you want to take Power of the Storm. This makes it with when you have 6 stacks of Maelstrom, you are going to be casting Storm Bolts. But we don't like 6 stacks of Maelstrom, we like 4 stacks of Maelstrom. So you put 2 points into Strong Tides, and now it's going to trigger when you have 4 stacks. And what does Warcry do? Gives you 4 stacks, so it has perfect synergy. And then we put another 3 points into Energize, so it can just hit multiple targets. The last 3 points goes into Area, because you don't need the chill chance here, because of the chill chance you get on Warcry. Moving over to your damage dealer, Avalanche. And Avalanche is a tree where honestly you wish you had 50 points, because there is so much good stuff here. So much good stuff. Now, the first thing I do is I recommend going up and over and turning it into a cold skill instead of a physical skill. I then come down and I automate your Upheaval. Upheaval chance from large boulders, 100%. That is how you're making your Upheavals. As you can see in the gameplay, Avalanche is a mana hog. And look at that tooltip, 226,000. So you want to come down here and turn the mana down -8. We're then coming to the right. 45% multiplicative damage with an active totem. And the totem that you will have is from your Warcry, and you'll be able to cast a Thorn totem from your idols. Now, right here, boulder hits have a chance to grant you storm stacks. And this is important for the next skill that I'm going to show you. You're going to have tons of storm stacks from your Avalanche. Lastly, you're going to come over here, large boulder chance, which is going to trigger your Upheaval. And you want that base critical strike and small boulder chance on crit. That is Avalanche. Last but not least, Gathering Storm. Now for Gathering Storm, first thing you want to do is come up and turn it into a cold skill. And then you're going to take this tree right here, which is going to give you freeze rate per your attunement and frostbite penetration per attunement. So your storm bolts, instead of being lightning, are going to be these cold little spikes that pop out of the ground. Then you want to come here to the left, and you want 4 points for multiplicative damage to your cold storm bolts. You want to come over here and get Maelstrom chance. Whenever you expend a storm stack, you have a chance to cast Maelstrom, and base crit chance on your storm bolts per Maelstrom. Now, you don't use this skill, so it's not possible for you to build storm stacks. That is why we take the points here in Avalanche. Avalanche is going to make the storm stacks for you, which in turn makes more Maelstrom. See how this is working? We put a point here into lightning strikes twice, just chance for it to repeat. And then the bottom tree right here, you're going to get more cold penetration with thunderous strikes. And then these 2 nodes right here. Okay, hear me very clearly. If you are struggling with mana, which again, this is a mana heavy build, just take this point out and you will be totally fine. Storm bolts now consume a portion of your current mana to give you multiplicative damage. This is a big damage boost to storm bolts, but it also eats up 1% of your mana. And since we're dual wielding, you're also going to get chance to hit 2 enemies instead of 1. So just know this will save your mana. Those are the skills. So now let's break down the passives. At time of recording, I'm level 99, and I'll show you where to put that final point. Now in the base Primalist tree, we'll jump around and I'll show you some stuff you want to take. Attunement and some resistances, strength and health regen, dual wielding, and max life. Now my final 5 points, which means at level 95, are going right here into Cornered Beast, which gives you less damage taken on low health. And my final point will be going there, which will be 20%. This working with your endurance, you become very tanky and hard to kill on low life. It is definitely scary, but needed. Moving over to Shaman, we're taking attunement and cold penetration. Big boost to mana and armor based upon having an active totem. And you'll always have an active totem, whether it's Warcry or Thorn. Earth Supremacy, Attunement, Endurance Threshold, Stun, Avoidance, Health Regen per Uncapped Endurance, Endurance percent, Stun Chance, jumping up for more resistances per active totem. You're going to have a lot of active totems. 16 to base spell. Attunement. This is how you keep your mana high. This is like the quintessential node. I want to pause for a second and read. Increased mana regen per 1 attunement. So let's say you have 120 attunement. This singular node will give you 130 or 120% mana regen. Stack your attunement. 4 into Swirling Maelstrom. This is going to give you mana health, Maelstrom 1 hit, but more importantly, endurance threshold per Maelstrom, and at times you'll have up to 15 stacks of Maelstrom. 8 into Iron Bark. This is going to give you health regen per 3 attunement, and totems gain stun immunity. So that's Shaman. Lots of good stuff. Moving over to Beastmaster. 8 into Yersin Strength. This gives you 16% damage reduction. Boarheart. This gives you 15% damage reduction for 5 seconds when you get hit by a melee attack. 6 into Natural Fortitude, Strength, Health Regen, increased health regen per strength. And last but not least, Druid. 5 into Spirit Warden. When you directly cast a spell, you regain the mana or rage cost as health. Obviously, you're going to be spending a ton of mana on your Avalanche, so this will help keep you in the positive. And then 7 into Druid Prowess. We need the strength, we need the attunement, and it gives you a nice 1-point bonus. Those are the passives. Moving over to Last Epoch tools, we're going to break down the blessings, idols, and gear, starting with blessings. And for the most part, we are spec'd into defensive blessings, with the exception of our crit strike multiplier. We also have all resistance, double armor, base and armor percent, and health regen. I think these are the best blessings. They work great for the build. Moving over to idols, the most quintessential and required idol for this build is chance on hit to summon a Thorn Totem and increase spell damage if you have an active totem. This is the main suffix you want to see. Now, even at only 10% chance to trigger a Thorn Totem, this is happening all the time. Maelstrom is hitting, Cold Storm Bolts are hitting, Avalanche is hitting, and that 10% is gonna feel like 100%. That is how we are ensuring we always have a totem on the field. Now, we also have health regen, increase spell damage with an active totem. We took vitality, increase spell damage with an active totem, and we have taken double life. Now, if you don't like or you can't find this idol here, vitality and spell damage, you could stack 2 extra double health idols. Just FYI. Okay. Moving over to gear. For this build, there is nothing required. You don't have to go find this to make the build work. It actually has a very, very low gear requirement. Now, that being said, the 3 legendaries that I currently have is Peak of the Mountain. We don't really care about leech. We care about health regen. As you can see here, we're regenning 1,000 health per second. So this is great for crit chance. We are using an ominous for level and resistances. It's just such a good amulet all around. And then we are actually using a Sacred Light. Now, we do have a decent amount of strength in this build. Just looking at the way it's made, 74 strength. So you're going to get a big boost to your spell damage using this. And a sword can get an affix for spell damage. So you can get sometimes 80 spell damage from this offhand sword, which is awesome for our Avalanche. Now, the rest of the items, chest, strength attunement, double health, belt, cold mana, double health, boots, attunement, movement, double health, gloves, strength attunement, health regen, hybrid, relic. This is a base cold damage and chance for Maelstrom every 3 seconds. Crit multiplier, avalanche. Ring, attunement, strength. Ring, attunement, strength. And main weapon, crit multiplier, spell, cold penetration. That is the gear. So now let's talk leveling tips and tricks. It's not a leveling guide, just kind of get you pointed in the right direction. Now, the skill that I level with, whether I'm a Beastmaster, Shaman, or Druid, is Swipe. Now, the reason why I like Swipe is, 1, it's free, it's a melee attack, and these 3 nodes right here, you get more damage, leech, area, and kill threshold. So they're those bigger enemies throughout the campaign. You get a kill threshold, you can hit enemies in a pack, you can take them out. It is a very nice skill. Now, the other 2 skills I like are Warcry and Maelstrom. Okay, now let me explain. Kind of like what we use for this build. I like Warcry for triggering Maelstrom. Okay. And they can give you Berserking, which will boost your attack speed, which helps with your swipe. So I like using Warcry and Maelstrom, and then I come down here and convert Maelstrom to a physical attack. Okay? So you're running around, you're swiping and hitting enemies. You're using Warcry to give you Berserking, which is also triggering your physical Righteous Fire AoE physical damage. And then you have an unspec'd Fury Leap, just like this build, on your bar to jump around. You will fly through the campaign. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new and refreshed Avalanche Shaman? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to push this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, only if you think I've earned it. And if I haven't earned it, I'm gonna work harder for you. Best way to support is Patreon, and don't forget to join the official Action RPG Discord. We do a game giveaway every 2 weeks for just being a member of the community. Approaching 4,500 members. We do movie nights, game nights, cover all things ARPG, and are kind of the unofficial voice channel for Last Epoch. So check out the Discord. I'm done. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.